Afternoon, brothers and sisters. And it's so nice to see you all out today. My emotions are running extremely high today. We know it not be in the situation we're in now. In December of 2012, the OBA government took over the leadership of this country. Some persons felt as though things were going to change for the better. Other people predicted that things were going to get worse. But regardless of how persons felt during that election, we all still continue to have hope for a better Bermuda. We all thought that whatever happens, we can work together as a people and move forward to both social and economic empowerment of our people, so that all can experience a prosperous Bermuda. But as we entered into 2013 and 2014, we saw those hopes slipping away. We recognized that for many, persons' lives were getting worse than better. We recognized the struggles became greater. We recognized income inequality was widening. We recognized more and more of our people were losing jobs. As a result, in 2014, a group of individuals came together. Prior to May 1st, 2014, which would have been what we call International Workers' Day or Labor Day. And we said we'll do something special. We formed a group. We called it a People's Campaign. And we went out from St. David's to Somerset and met with the residents of this country. Not one of us could predict what would transpire in those meetings. We heard our people tell us how they've lost hope. We heard the English. We saw grown people stand up and cry in front of crowds because they can no longer provide for their family. We saw persons who stood up and says they have a number of degrees and still can't find employment in this country. We heard the cries. We heard the English. And we said, you know what? We can't let the campaign die here. We put together a People's Manifesto based on the principles of equality, jobs, and justice. And that will be our foundation moving forward. Since 2014 and that march we had, where we had over 4,000 people in that inaugural march leading from Victoria Park. The People's Campaign have been on the front line of being the voice for the voiceless in this country. We have been on the front line of speaking up against the bad policies and oppression in this country. And despite all the criticism and attacks, we have been steadfast in our mission and our responsibility to the people that entrusted faith in us. Let's not be fooled. Reverence Tree has been an integral part of the People's Campaign. Reverend Tweed has been one of the chief strategists in the People's Campaign. There is no People's Campaign without Reverend Tweed. There is no People's Campaign without Chris Frabit. There is no People's Campaign without a Jason Hayward. But most importantly, there is no People's Campaign without you. So it's not about what we, as the leaders of the campaign, has accomplished. This is what you, as members of this campaign, has accomplished. We have accomplished a lot. We've put pushback when pushback is needed. So let's not kid ourselves. Let's not get caught up in the narrative that somehow the church failed to do some administrative due diligence. And as a result, we're where we are today. Let's not buy into the foolishness. It took you additional 5 months to say there were some administrative errors. You're not talking to a group of stupid individuals. You're attacking the leaders of this campaign because we are a threat to your power base. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's not sugarcoat things anymore. Chris Farber said on Labor Day, touch Reverend Tweed, the house of cards come tumbling down. We don't bluff anymore. If we say we're going to do an action, we're going to carry out that action. Removing Reverend Tweed, does it create value for the country? Or just fuel the emotions of a group of people whose hope is continuously diminishing? You're going to threaten us with prosecution? Then come. When you take people from the bottom, you can't send them no further than where they are now. Ask yourself, what do you have to lose? Oh, I got a mortgage. Yeah? A lot of us lost houses. And it's the truth. Persons are sitting in this room, they've lost houses. They've lost job. They've lost income. They've lost the ability to provide for their family. You take us to court and you sue us. What? To get money out of us? You see these material things? What do you take away from people that have very little? Guess what? But they can't break our spirit and they can't break our faith. What do you want us? Stop hoping and wishing for a better Bermuda? Just let things be. Just see ourselves and our futures just slip away and say nothing about it? It's not going to happen. We're not that type of people. I said on Labor Day that a shepherd can lead sheep that are asleep. But I look out today and I see an awakened group of people. There's a number of items on the agenda. And let's begin with the pepper spray issue. There's been a lot of talk in terms of what transpired that day, who was in the situation room to make the decision in reference to who was pepper sprayed. Apparently, everybody of any significant position running around to make the call. A shame. But guess what we saw? We saw our people attacked by the police. It was a nasty day in Bermuda's history. The government and the ministers ought to be ashamed of themselves. And they think pepper spray is going to deter us. But guess what? You still have an officer who was irresponsible on that day. Irresponsible on that day. To say it lightly. And that person reports to work every day. Like you done a good job. We've been fired for less. We've had cashiers whose tills been short by a couple dollars. Literally. We've had somebody walk out of the office with a box of trash bags and they're no longer employed. Roll their eyes at the boss and the fired. And you're going to tell me this man attacked citizens of this country. Unprovoked. And we're going to settle for that? I don't like putting it as seniors versus young versus old. On the day I even said seniors. But it was warriors on that day. First item on the agenda. We're not selling for this man, reporting to work every day as business as usual. Somebody needs to make a decision that this person is placed on administrative leave or suspended or something. What happened was unnecessary, uncalled for, and wrong, and we're not going to stand for it. Two years ago, we put in a petty request. We got documents from Canada. Once reading 2,000 documents, we saw that something wasn't right with this airport development deal. It was tainted. It was shady. A lot of irregularities was happening. We went on Let's Talk, and we thought we would educate the public on what we found. We landed ourselves with a civil suit for defamation of character. I have never spoken publicly about that civil suit. It was intentionally designed to break me. What do I mean by that? Once the legal course began to mount, I recognized the severity of what was taking place. After first $100,000 was spent, and we wasn't even at a trial yet. You had to spend $100,000 just to get to trial. We're having a conversation with the lawyer, and he basically says, you have a sound defense, but if we proceed to trial, it's going to be another $100,000. He then said, Bob has a pricier lawyer than you. And if it doesn't work out in your favor, that's your legal fees and that's his legal fees. So I said, how much money are we talking about? We were talking about $500,000 now on a defamation case. That's the reality. A lot of people don't know that it's real. That matter was actually settled because they recognized that they didn't want to embark on the road because the risk was equal for the minister as it was for me. The aim was to shut me up, and guess what? It didn't happen. The aim was to shut them up, and guess what? It didn't happen. The aim was to shut you up, and guess what? You're still out here today. It was the most humbling experience of my life. I genuinely mean so. I'll go to church, and after the collection, seniors and church members will come and put money in my hand. I'll be in a restaurant, and the person in line in front of me or behind me will say, Brother Hayward, got that. I'll be in the grocery store, and somebody would offer to pay for my groceries. So I'm out here. We don't do this for no prestige. There's no financial reward we get. There's no popularity contest. We don't do it to ascend to any prominent position in society. We do it because we care. I care for the people of this country, and I want to see a better Bermuda. That's why we do what we do. We can easily sit down, shut up, and let it be business as usual in this country. That's the easy thing. But we refuse to do so. Nobody is going to stop us from standing up for what we believe in. Nobody can convince us now that somehow this airport redevelopment deal is a good deal. It's a bad deal, bottom line. The emails reveals a bad deal. We have people who's looked into the numbers, crunched the numbers, and told you financially it's not in our best interest to go down this road. The opposition party, the PLP, has been extremely active in educating the public in terms of the numbers. There's nobody been out there to convince or support Bob's assertion that this is in our best interest. Basic mathematics before getting into too much. If I give away all my revenue and I retain the expenses. Where do I get the money from to cover the expenses that I just gave the revenue away? I have to be drawing it from another area. And based on your track record, you draw it from what area? The social services you provide to the people of this country. You know what? This wouldn't even be a big deal if we had affordable health care. This wouldn't be a big deal if our education system was where it should be. This wouldn't be a big deal if our people were not struggling. This wouldn't be a big deal if everybody was getting a piece of the pie. This wouldn't be a big deal if Bermuda employment weren't doing this and non-Bermuda employment weren't doing this. See, all these trends are heading in the wrong direction. What's looking up for us? Thank you. Thank the Lord for sending Jesus Christ. Because that's the only way we have the hope, strength, and resilience that we have. We saw the oppression he faced. We see the oppression we face. What would Jesus do? Fight on. Now we get to my big brother, Reverend Tree. More than just a brother, more than a friend, more than a mentor, more than just. This man has created value for this country since it's been here. On every major issue we have faced, this man has stood boldly with us. He's prayed over every gathering we've had. Even when the unions has issues, he has offered his assistance to come in and mediate. But some members of this community, while we love him, they hate him. While we trust him, they despise him. And while we follow him, they fear him. And that's the reason why they want him gone. Sitting in his congregation one Sunday, he had a sermon. And he talked about Jesus' first miracle. He turned water into wine. And some people, if you miss the sermon, you get caught up looking at the shallow side of what was said. Jesus' first miracle. He turned water into alcohol for a party. You can't reduce my Lord to that. Here's what the Rev said. The Rev said, in those times, those water jars weren't for drinking water. Those water jars were for cleaning up. they were seen to be dirty jars, uncleansed. As a result, despite those jars being dirty and uncleansed, Jesus saw greater use for those dirty, uncleansed jars. And in those jars, he turned the water into wine. Look at your own life. Look at the situation we're here in Bermuda. I tell you, Jesus Christ, God, sees something greater for ourselves than dirty, uncleansed jars. He sees what we can be used for. He sees what we can become. But there is no faith without works. So he brought us together today. He's empowered us to be here. And we're not going to waste this opportunity. We will show this country that we stand boldly and firmly behind our brother, Reverend Nicholas Tweed. Brothers and sisters, I'm tired of marching. And I hear you. I get it. You're all tired of marching. But guess what, brothers and sisters? I'm also tired of the condition that our people are in. And I have to weigh up my tiredness. Why do we march? Because we're desperate. You heard that, the media? Why do we do what we do? Because we're desperate. There's nothing else for us to do. Until there's an alternative, we're going to continue to do what we do best. And that's buck this system we're living in. This system that tells us, wake up in the morning, go to work, come home, pay your bills again, go sleep, wake back up, go back to work, pay your bills again, stay exactly where you are. If you want a house, no. If you want a car, no. If you want your children to go to a proper school, no. Go to where he send you. Oh, you don't have health care money. Too bad. That's the system we're living in. And guess what? We're tired of playing by your rules. This whole movement started apolitical. Which means we didn't pick a side with one. They painted us as some fictional combined opposition. At this point, I'll accept that. So what we are? Now we're all in cahoots. Big deal. Why though? Why? Why are we in cahoots? Because we are tired of the OPA government. We are tired of their policies. We are tired of being oppressed. We wouldn't be in this room if we didn't feel that way. You force us to be here. You force us to act. And so that's what we'll do. There's always this thing that comes up when we say about the leadership misleading you. Let me tell you something as individuals. You make a conscious decision for your actions today. Myself and Brother Chris is protesting with Reverend Tree regardless of who's behind us. So you all sit in this office and make a conscious decision on what you want to do today. Don't say you was misled by the leadership or we had one expectation. Let me tell you the expectations of today. We're all in the unknown. I can't tell you whether you be pepper sprayed or not. I can't tell you whether the riot police will come out today or not. I just can't predict those things. But if they come, they come. I'm going to show my support for my brother today. And I'm humbly asking that you stand boldly with us today. Do what you feel is in your best interest. Do what your conscience is telling you to do. It would be remiss of me not to say these few words. We can't thank Brother Chris enough for what he does for this country. And equally, we can't thank enough the brothers and sisters of the BRU who take the bull by the horns and stand first and on the front line of every issue we have in this country. There's multiple things happening today. So in 5 minutes, Reverend Tweed will leave and head to the airport. No, listen. So, now listen. To go pick up his bishop. And the rest of us, while he's doing that simultaneously, are going to show Bermuda that we stand boldly and firmly behind Reverend Tree. And Brother Chris, what you say? We get the premier a few ultimatums today?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, no, listen. It's my understanding that the Cabinet office is now on Reed Street. So I think we should head to Reed Street and make it a pedestrian area for the day. I don't know, but we'll find out. But they say it's the Lyons Old building, Lyons Brothers building. That's before my time. I ain't even sure who the Lyons Brothers are. But, but brothers and sisters, here's the deal. I thank you again for coming out. Let's be bold today. Let's be organized today. Let's be steadfast today. Let's not forget why we do what we do. We do it simply because we care and we want to see a better Bermuda. Bottom line. I think it's only proper if we assemble out front. And we can begin our progression. At that time, Reverend Tree will be going to the airport. And so I'll allow him to close out with a few words and a word of prayer.